Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our College to Career Speaker Series. Texas Career Engagement is thrilled to partner on this program with the Hispanic Faculty and Staff Association, which is one of the leading affinity groups here at UT Austin. Our partnership on this event is celebrated in recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month. So many thanks to HFSA, our Hispanic Faculty Staff Association, for all they do to celebrate and raise awareness of Latinx identity. I wanted to provide a quick overview of Texas Career Engagement. We originated in 2018 based on the findings of the College to Career Task Force, hence the name College to Career Speaker Series. This task force consisted of faculty, staff, students, and alumni who really examined what was happening at UT in the career space. Amongst numerous findings, one of the major recommendations was the creation of our office, Texas Career Engagement. We are focused on maximizing the student experience from the moment they become a Longhorn. Our mission is to advance equitable access to career education, experiences, opportunities, and success for all of our students here at UT. We do this in close partnership with our UT Career Services across campus. We developed and supported the Hook Talent EDU and numerous resources to support students and employers. So let me kick us off by just explaining a little bit about what the session will look like. The panel will be followed. We will have some wonderful panelists who are joining us today, and you'll hear more about them soon. And after the panelists have a chance to share, we will break out into small groups. And students can share why D&I is important to them and ask questions in a small group environment. And then we will all come back together to wrap up. So a little bit on housekeeping as well. So now what I would like to do is introduce our moderator, Reina Flores. Reina serves as a program coordinator in the Student Success Initiatives Office, working with University Leadership Network students here at UT. She has almost 10 years of experience coordinating and developing student programs and to promote student success, specifically with underrepresented student populations. She is pursuing a PhD in educational leadership and policy at UT to dismantle the systems of oppression that she experienced as a student. Reina is joining us today as she represents the Hispanic Faculty Staff Association as the staff co-chair-elect. She is a first-generation Latina student who grew up in the Rio Grande Valley in Deep South Texas. She earned a master's degree in student affairs and higher education from Texas State University and a bachelor's degree in psychology from St. Edward's University. So it's my pleasure to hand the mic over now to Reina. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Norma. And thank you everybody for being here today. I'm happy to be here representing the Hispanic Faculty and Staff Association. And thank you to Texas Career Engagement for hosting this panel today. I'm going to begin by introducing today's panelists. From TESA, we have Tope Ogunigi, Staff Technical Program Manager for Gigafactory Nevada and co-chair of Black at Tesla. From Eli Lilly and Company, we have Iman Mangum, Associate Consultant and Campus Relations Diversity Lead. From Procter & Gamble, we have Adriana Gonzalez, IT Director. And from PwC, we have Jason Shirazi, Manager in the Technology Consulting Practice and also a UT alum. So the first question I have for everyone is, how has your company empowered you to bring your authentic self to work? We would love to hear your personal story and how your organization has implemented initiatives to support underrepresented and marginalized populations in the workplace. Let's start with Tope from Tesla.
Cool. Good afternoon, everyone. So to answer your question, how Tesla has helped me bring my authentic self to work, I believe the different ERG teams that we do have here and the initiatives that they kick off have allowed me to have an inclusive feeling. So part of being the president of Black at Tesla, and then also being a member of Women in Tesla, just the different programs that we've had, the kickoffs, the lunch and learns, feedback sessions, I think that has been an intricate part in me being able to feel comfortable coming to work.
Thank you, Tope. Next, Iman from Eli Lilly and Company.
Yes, thank you. So the way Lilly has allowed me to feel like I can bring my full self to work is, one, by starting with our leadership. Our CEO has made it very clear that diversity and inclusion is not just a check the box. It's not just a catchphrase or popular phrase. It's something that we are feel strongly about and and believe it's important. And one of the ways that they've done that is starting what we call journey work. And so we look at things as like, what is it like to be a woman and work at Lilly? What is it like to be African American and work at Lilly? What is it like to be Latinx? What is it like to be part of LGBTQ and work at Lilly? And what they did from that is share those learnings across the company. And that has opened up a dialogue with me and my colleagues, my peers, my leaders, to be able to be seen and heard. And so because of some of these initiatives and because of the initial work of the journey work that's been done, we've actually created learnings and trainings from this particular set of information that we receive to help employees, to kind of reduce some of those biases that we have and may experience. So because of that work, part of that is why I'm able to feel like I can bring my whole self all through and through, Louisiana girl, all the way to work.
Thank you, Iman. Mm-hmm. Let's turn it over to Adriana from Procter & Gamble.
Well, I've been with the company for 18 years, and I'm finding it hard to remember a time where I didn't feel like I brought myself to work. I don't think that ever happened. And for P&G, I think I echo Iman's comment that it isn't, for P&G, diversity is a strategic imperative. So from the very beginning, since I joined, we have been hearing the mantra, diversity is important, not just because it's the right thing to do, but it also helps us connect better to our consumers. We cannot expect to connect to our consumers if we don't mirror our consumers and we don't have people inside the company that think and feel the way our consumers do. And so I think diversity is embedded in everything. And I would tell you the big things, like knowing that my management is perfectly aware of my strengths and my skills and is looking out for me for, good roles where I can give my best, for example, and also the small day-to-day things in the mentoring we have, in the advocacy we have, in the employee resource groups, as Topi was saying, but also in the one-to-one with my managers, where I can be totally vulnerable and talk about how I may see things different and get to common understanding if they think or do or have different way of looking at things. So in general, I would say diversity and inclusion permeates everything we do, and you probably can feel it in the everyday small things and in the big one too.
Thank you, Adriana. And now, Jason.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Shirazi, and PwC has allowed me, I should say, and everyone that works there, at least I feel like, bring their authentic self in a variety of ways. Again, we're a very large company, and sometimes you want to bring yourself in a smaller setting. So what we have are called affinity groups, and those affinity groups might be specific to being a veteran, and you're looking to connect and bring your authentic self to a smaller group within a veterans. If you're Latinx, you're African American, whatever it might be. So we have affinity groups sponsored by partners who are top leaders within our firm. And those affinity groups not only have like a leader to help guide them through situations and have those open conversations, but also to, provide funding to do events and to really gather together. So affinity groups is a great way that I believe PwC engages diversity or promotes it. And additionally, setting up real or raw conversations about what things are going. As some of you may know, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and unfortunately we have an incident with one of our colleagues named Bo Jean. And after that incident, there's just a lot of real raw conversations that were held by leadership and a lot of events that were done. And so I think those promote allowing not only to bring yourself, but speak your mind whenever you'd like. So, but again, I think those two examples are how PwC promotes inclusion and how I can bring my authentic self to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, panelists, for answering that first question. Our next couple of questions are questions that students provided during their registration. I'm going to ask two of these questions. The first question, are there trainings for diversity and inclusion for you as employees in your company? And if so, to what extent? Let's start with Adriana.
All right. There are plenty of trainings in the course of my career. I've done all sorts of different things, from cross-cultural education to how to have dialogues about our differences. But the one that I want to bring up in this forum is our Hispanic new hire training. I think this is we do 3 days in which we take our Hispanics across the whole company and put them in a hotel, basically living with one another for the duration of the training. And we tell them the reallys, how are you going to get rated, and how to best have a conversation with your manager. And this is how important networking is. So we're going to start making your network here among Hispanics, but also we're going to bring leadership so you get to know them. We have them have a panel with them. We have them doing activities to navigate corporate communication and all sorts of things that are going to be super helpful for their career. Hispanics for P&G historically have been a group that has a high level of attrition. And so all of these initiatives are geared to try to reduce that attrition. This particular program has been very successful at that. The alumni of the program are actually friends for the rest of their careers. And, these days, the organizer had been doing the program for the last 20 years and still sees and talks the people she met in the program. So I think it's a great, great example of what we do in the company.
Thank you, Adriana. And now to Jason.
So we have a set of mandatory trainings that we believe are pretty important from a diversity and inclusion standpoint. One is what we call blind spots. So everyone has a blind spot when it comes to looking at folks or reacting to people. And, it's also blind spots in terms of also opening up yourself to make sure that you treat everyone equally. And so a blind spot training is something that we require throughout every single level of PwC. And then there's dedicated diversity and inclusion tracks if you'd like to kind of expand your trainings or your knowledge on any topic. But there's kind of a set of required trainings that we feel are necessary and help promote the kind of workplace we'd like.
Thank you. Our second student question, we will start with Tope and then Iman. The question is, how can we, or how does your employer, prioritize people who are differently abled in the workplace? Tope?
That's a good question. Can you just say it one more time? I just want to make sure I understand what you're asking.
Yes. So how can we, or how does your employer prioritize people who are differently abled in the workplace?
Great. Okay. So I know I can definitely speak from what we're trying to do within Black at Tesla. One of the things that we understand is our associate population. So production associates, mainly our hourly associates. That's the diversity is high in those groups of individuals, and just uh, the programs that we have to make their transition one at Tesla for them to be successful, we found that to be critical. So just having different training events geared towards, sorry for background noise, geared towards their development, which is an area that they've asked for support in, is paramount, in addition to our consistency and what it is that we're offering. Because one of the challenges that just me being new to the president role that I found is the consistency in the offering. A lot of times we get busy with our day to day, and we don't realize the importance of the roles that the ERG plays in the workplace, and how it makes the employees feel inclusive, or at least address some of their concerns. So I believe that the programs that we offer to them help them with help able bodies, as kind of what you mentioned, in their day-to-day activities here at Tesla.
Thank you for sharing that. And now to Iman.
Yes. So one of the ways that Lilly prioritizes people who are differently abled is one, we offer workplace accommodations, and we offer those not just for employees, but our full-time employees, but even for our vendors and our interns. So, and Lilly recognizes that everyone, you may be differently abled, and the term that we're using right now, Lilly, whether your disability is visible or invisible, you still deserve the same amount of treatment, be able to do your job efficiently as possible to the best of your capabilities and to your abilities. And Lilly will work with you to make sure that you have everything you need to assist you to do your job. Additionally, we have an ERG, Employee Resource Group. It used to be called Working and Living with Disabilities, but they recently changed the name to Enable. And our US affinity group is called Enable US, and our global is just Enable. And they provide resources. And the thing is, a part of our employee resource groups, it's not just for people who particularly identify with a certain group, but it's those who want to be a support and to learn more. So, and Enable is actually one of our largest ERGs across Lilly, because either someone or you are maybe a part of that group. And so it's one of our largest groups, and Lilly definitely believes in empowering people to, like I said earlier, to bring their full self to work, and making sure that all employees have the resources and tools they need to execute their job.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now going to ask specific questions to each panelist. We're going to start with Tope at Tesla. Okay. So here at the University of Texas at Austin, we have different university resource groups like the Hispanic Faculty and Staff Association. And these groups not only provide a way to communicate the needs of diverse groups on the campus community, but also to celebrate the identities and talents of these diverse groups. Tope, can you tell us more about your experience serving as the co-chair for Black at Tesla?
Sure. It's definitely been, I think, a learning experience for me, and in a good way. I think just seeing the needs of the workforce and what it is like they would like from the company, and their expectation as well, and dealing with some of the challenges that we've been facing during these challenging times. I think I would say my experience has been one definitely of learning, but then one of empowerment as well. Just being able to be in a role where I can help or drive, again, programs that benefit others, or allow them to be able to communicate, create a forum for them to feel safe, to be able to express their concerns, get feedback. And I will say that I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It definitely is like a lot of work, because our ERGs are anybody that's in a role, it's on a volunteer basis, and I'm sure maybe that's similar in other companies, or it might not be. But just being able to, I guess, give back at work, and not just in what I'm contributing to within my team, but to the employees and on a larger scale. Like, so there's Gigafactory Nevada. We have a location in Buffalo, also have a location in California, soon to be Texas, and then all our satellite locations with the service centers. I feel like this has definitely been a rewarding part of my career, being part of Black at Tesla.
Great, thank you. I'm now going to move to Adriana. Adriana, P&G was recently spotlighted in the August National Association of Colleges and Employers Journal, the role of career development professional in the Black talent recruitment process. For your commercial called The Talk and the My Black is Beautiful campaign, can you tell us more about this campaign and how these values are displayed in the workplace?
So My Black is Beautiful has been going on for more than 10 years. And remember that in the beginning, I mentioned that P&G believes that we cannot represent our consumers if we don't have people like our consumers in the company. Well, this is a perfect example of that, because My Black is Beautiful was created by 6 brand marketing people, Black mothers in the company who felt that the Black community wasn't accurately reflected in the advertisement and the marketing in general. And they not only wanted to talk about Black beauty in terms of, well, hair or skin, they wanted to highlight Black communities that are beautiful, Black families that are beautiful. They wanted to create a holistic picture of Black and the beauty of the community. So as I said, it has been going on for a long time. And in 2016, I think was in a way an important year. As you know, there have been a number of incidents of racial violence and other things that were weighing very heavily in Black mothers' minds. And I think that anxiety was something that these women marketers wanted to highlight and start a dialogue about. So, having done My Black is Beautiful for a long time and having contacts with several advertising agencies, they work together to put that commercial together. And I think, going back to that, P&G believes in this. They got all the support from the company to do it. And we don't believe that anybody but them would be able to really mirror that kind of anxiety and that kind of message, that, other than them coming from that background. So going back to the values of the company, I think more reflective of the values of the company was not maybe putting the commercial out, but what happened afterwards, because we did get some backslash from it. And the company just decided to double down. Not only they didn't take it down, they double on the spending advertisement for it. And as I was preparing for this panel and looking at the advertisement again, my daughter told me, hey, you know what? We watched that at school and we were talking about it. So mission accomplished, right? The dialogue has started and it has been expanded way beyond, I think, what we thought it would do.
Great, that's great to hear about the impact of that. Thank you for sharing. I'm now going to shift to Iman. So to bring your authentic self to work, one might say that it begins with the recruitment process. Iman, can you tell us more about your role as the campus relations diversity recruiter? We'd love to hear about diversity initiatives within recruiting and hiring in the workplace.
Great question. Thank you for asking that. So what I'd like to share is that as a campus recruiter and diversity lead, I think all of my teammates, we are now considered diversity leads, because you have to be intentional, especially when you're looking for diverse talent. It's out there, but if you're not intentional to find it, if you're just not intentional, you won't, but it's there. Extremely talented individuals. And so what I can say that at least that I do when I'm recruiting, I make sure that I'm partnering with universities where there's, a large population of diverse talent, of course. And also I like to partner with student organizations and to really get to understand and get to know them. Because that way, helping them and relating them to the careers and opportunities at Lilly and employees that, may represent areas where they're from, right? So I know that like later today, I have the opportunity to be joining Macomb's Diversity Council to talk about, what Lilly is doing. And whenever I have opportunities like that, I try to bring along teammates who are either from the area or particular experiences that they can share with students. And that goes for my teammates as well. So we are intentional about our recruiting efforts and hosting events. And we like to combine our efforts. And so in addition to having an events for, like, we have our ERG, which is OLA, one of our ERGs is the Organization of Latinos at Lilly. And right now for Hispanic Heritage Month, if you even follow me on LinkedIn, I have been sharing the content because we have had great content. And what I like to do is partner the content that we have at Lilly that we are allowed to share externally, to share that with my universities that I partner with. And that goes for any of the any diversity areas that we're looking for. And so I believe that like I said, you have to be intentional about recruiting, especially recruiting diverse talent, because sometimes, and a part of the training that we have is unconscious bias, and you have to be able to look beyond your unconscious bias, and you have to be aware of your unconscious bias to make sure that you are finding that diverse talent.
Thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm. To continue the conversation of bringing your authentic self to work, I want to turn it over to Jason to share about PwC. How does PwC promote employees bringing their whole selves to the workplace? Jason?
Yeah, so I think it was going off of what I had said a little bit earlier. I think the affinity groups is still a large part of how we allow everyone to bring their authentic selves. And the partnership, being that we are a private company, the partnership has the ability to kind of allocate funds whenever they like to certain events. And, with these affinity groups, what we're allowed to do is like sponsor some events where, Diwali is a big event that we, one of the affinity groups really likes to celebrate. So the partner puts in some funds and they invite the entire Dallas office or Austin office to join in that. And so it allows people to bring their entire authentic selves, and it also promotes people joining in for events that they may not understand or would like to learn about. And so these affinity groups, the ability, and, if you're interested and want to like understand a culture or a cause or whatever it is, you can also be a part of these affinity groups, and it allows you to learn. So I believe just, the ability for partners to kind of promote these and lead these, and also the fact that the firm, as long as you take the responsibility, you can set up any type of group you'd like. I think that autonomy within the firm allows for people to really bring their authentic selves and promote and educate others on what their authentic self is.
Thank you for sharing that. And I have one final question before we head to the next portion of today's event. A question for everybody is, what piece of advice will you give to our students who are looking more into their college to career pathway about bringing their authentic self to work? Let's start with Iman.
Know that you are enough where you are, and know that you are worthy, you are enough, and that you do not have to change for anyone. You do not have to change. If you like who you are, if you like the strengths and you like even your areas of development about yourself, know that that is good enough. And know just as much as a company would be interviewing you and trying to get you to come, to join, to find out about you, you're interviewing the company as well. And that you have a lot to offer, and you want to be sure that your values, what value you hold true and dear to your heart, that they align, that the company is aligned with your personal values. Because if, you have personal values and you found a company that you think you're interested in, but their company culture or their values don't align with yours, that's not a place you're gonna want to be at. You probably won't be happy there if you are not allowed to bring your full self, if you're not allowed to bring your values, your beliefs, your passions to work. So know that you are enough, you are worthy, and come just as you are, because that's what we want. I mean, we are looking for talent, and we're not looking to assimilate you. We're not looking to change you. We want you because you are you. And so I want you to know that that is enough, just like it is in the sentence. No additional question, nothing else. You are enough, period.
Great advice. Thank you.
Mhm.
Adriana, what would you say to students?
My goodness, it's hard to expand on what Iman was saying, because she was totally mirroring my thoughts of how I see these. I would say, it is as simple as be yourself. And I think all four of us are here basically bringing a message, and the message is diversity is important. For all these companies, diversity is important, and it's not important just because it's the right thing to do. It is important because all of our companies will perform better to the extent that we have diverse talent in our pools. Is that simple. So, not only you are gonna feel better and feel empowered because you are yourself and you're bringing all your energy and your passion, the company is gonna be better off for it.
Yes, great. And Jason?
Yeah, we have this, one of the items that our CEO or lead partner, Tim Ryan, typically mentions is, we're not perfect. And I have that same sentiment. PwC is not perfect and there's always room for improvement. So my recommendation is to always be proactive. If you see that there's something there's room for improvement, you think that there's a group missing, you think that there needs to be more attention or advocacy for a certain issue, feel free to bring that up. Feel free to bring up an idea that a new group should be started, funding should be sent or allocated to a certain place. Just because it doesn't exist in the company doesn't mean it'll never exist. But if you bring that idea forward and you're proactive, you can change, certain things within a company to make it better. A company may not be perfect, but if it allows you to have the ability to keep on changing it and pursue, a better stance for that company, I would, hope and challenge you to always be proactive as you grow within both at UT and outside of your career, but always be proactive and be willing to speak up whenever you'd like.
Thank you for sharing. And Tope?
It's hard to top everyone and all the feedback that they've said. I agree with everything that was said. The one thing that I would add is starting a new career can be intimidating. I know when people start at Tesla, they're just intimidated just based off of the name and the reputation and the pressure of working at Tesla. I definitely want to repeat a lot of what Iman said and Adriana, like, you are enough. I tell a lot of the interns, when you interview and you're selected and there's an offer made, that's the level of confidence that you need to have. They want to compare themselves to me, and I tell them that I'm constantly interviewing on a daily basis, right? So if you're selected, that says like, hey, we want you here. Have the confidence that, hey, I can do a good job. Somebody found you valuable and worthy enough to be here. Have that level of confidence. And I can't say enough that yes, you are enough. The skill sets that you have, whatever it is that you are equipped with, got you in the door, and that is enough. Just continue to build on those skill sets, sharpen them, and keep improving what you have to do as a human being anyway. So yeah, definitely the you are enough part is I can't resonate that, like, enough. It's important.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for sharing that. I'd also like to thank all of our panelists for sharing today. I'm now going to pass it along to the Texas Career Engagement team for the next portion of this event.
All right. Well, my name is Summer Salazar, and I serve as the Director of Employer Engagement at Texas Career Engagement. And I just want to thank Reina, for serving as a great partner and moderator on today's event. And thank you to our incredible panelists, to Iman, Topay, Jason, and Adriana for sharing your experiences and the work that your organizations are doing to build diversity and inclusion into those organizations. To all of our guests, especially our students at UT, make sure you're checking out their accounts and Handshake to see what jobs are available. And if these are organizations that really spoke to your values, I highly encourage you to connect and engage. So we have pay attention to Texas career engagement, look for opportunities and Handshake so that we can support you. We're going to continue to do this work. Just so you know that as we engage with employers and they ask to reach the diverse talent at UT, we're really looking at how they demonstrate that commitment, not just saying it, but how they implement it and how, again, they demonstrate it. So we thank you for your time today. For all our additional and external guests, thank you for being here and for valuing diversity and inclusion as much as we do. So we hope you have a great evening and we look forward to seeing you at the next event. So thank you all so much.